Good evening, everyone, and welcome on with JK Esports Racing here for Tier 2 for the Chinese Grand Prix. And I think this is going to be round 3 here. So we're going to getting started with a short qualifying session here right about now. I think we already got quite a few cars out on track. And we're going to switch on to that. So let's see what's what kind of lap times actually we're going to be having here at the moment. So on with CMDR, let's see where they are on the moment. So just a few cars. I think there's at least 3 drivers out so far. Hopefully we're gonna be seeing quite a few more get out as the time is gonna start to go in pretty quickly on track here as well. Remember, it is just a short qualifying session, so I know they are gonna be getting a move on with it as quickly as they can. We do have CMDR getting down that back straight at the moment in sector 3, so should be getting started with his lap pretty soon. I think he's probably the Yep, I think probably he's going to be the first driver to get started with a hot lap here. So we're going to see what the lap times are going to look like, how close it's actually going to get between these guys for this qualifying session. I heard someone made mention of a wet race in the Discord there. Not sure if that's going to be the case, but that's usually not always a good situation here, especially for the Chinese Grand Prix. So a bit of a difficult track in terms of tires as well. So we'll see how these guys actually get around with it. I think it's going to be quite an interesting race. I'm looking forward to see what that opening lap is going to be like when we do get around to that there. But I want to see how close the qualifying times are going to be here with Tier 2. I was on with Tier 1 last week, Saturday, and it was a pretty interesting race for the Dutch Grand Prix. So we're going to have a look this week with Tier 1 and see what they're going to be pulling off for us here and how good of a race we're actually going to be having with them. We got 19 drivers in the session here. Not sure if we're going to have one more joiner to make a completely full grid on this, but should be still a bit of an interesting race and session, even one driver short of this. So let's see what our lap times are going to look like as we got CMDR goes just a bit wide off that exit there, but still puts it on back on track. I think a lap still holds, at least for now. Everything obviously is going to be purple for him as he's going to be the first one to set a lap time in here. So we're going to wait and see what the lap times is going to look like here. And welcome to all of you guys who are currently joining us there on the stream. Thanks for joining on. Do make sure you guys do leave a like on the stream as well, and glad you guys are enjoying everything so far. So let's see what's gonna happen. I'm quite interested to see where our lap times are gonna be like at least halfway through the session. Let's wait until we're probably about 8 or 7 minutes down left and see what we're going to be looking at here, just to have an idea where these guys might be during the race itself. But it's going to be a whole different situation, I think, if we're actually having a wet race. So it depends how wet that race actually is going to be. We got a 132.5 from CMDR so far. Let's have a look at someone else on track at the moment here. Looks like Chris here is going through sector 1 still, so still yet to get him around to make some time. Let's switch it around a bit and see who else is about. I know someone is about to get across that line, I think, and I'm not sure who that is right about now. But oh, there. Let's see, just trying to switch this up. Let's see, we got on with K-Dog at the moment. Let's see, he's in the house, getting it wrong. Currently in sector 3 right about now, so an interesting sector 3 at the track with that very, very long back straight does provide a lot of good opportunity for overtakes in this race, which is where we're going to see most of it happen, especially down the DRS zone here. That is, of course, if there is no rain, because if rain does start to set in, that's going to go offline, and drivers are not going to be able to make use of it. They will also be able to use the ERS as much as they can getting through there. We're going to see a lot of different things happen, I think, around that sector 3. A lot of overtakes especially, but we'll see how it goes, especially into the final turn. So this might just get a bit interesting, but let's have a look. Leclerc currently fastest, 130.7. We got Keita going third at 133.5. Sorry, 133.0, 132.5 for CMDR that we had. Just Circuit went 131.9, so just a bit spaced off as expected right about now. Just at the start of a qualifying session, it's going to be a bit spaced off in most of the drivers. Let's go on with Cross J here, and where is he on track here at the moment? Just getting through into sector 3 right now in Aston Martin. Let's see what this lap time is going to look like from him there as well. We have a few more drivers who will probably be getting across the line before him, so we're just having a look and see how that is going to change the order up just a bit here. I see Chris getting back into the pits there. Probably not, didn't have the best lap out there, so I think he's probably going to try that again. See what's going to happen. Got average game at a 132.1. Not too bad so far. Starting to get a bit closer on with the gaps that we're going to have here. Currently Leclerc though still fastest in this section, 130.7. No one else into the 130s as yet, so still a bit interesting with his lap time, and that's a provisional pole time. We'll call it that for now. Give it to him at the moment. We still got 12 minutes left in qualifying, so still a lot of time, and a lot of stuff can happen here. So Cross there goes 132.9, not too bad, down to 5th with that. Gonna switch this up a bit. High risk off track just a bit there. on with Shelly the Turtle in the Mercedes, and I don't know if the name is gonna suit. A lot of cars seem to be going wide out of that exit there for some reason. Seem to be having some trouble with it. Let's see if that's gonna continue through the race session itself, because that definitely will probably result in a few penalties. If that's gonna be the case, we'll see what's gonna happen in that case there. As you see, very, very long this straight is, and a lot of fun to drive down here as well, as you can get the cars quite up with the speed. So but the braking zone, you gotta just be a bit careful with it, because you can overshoot it quite a bit, and it can potentially cause you positions in the race itself. So on with Shelly the Turtle. Let's see what the lap time is gonna be. Currently got 6 drivers on with this in terms of lap times, and I'm still waiting on the rest of them to get around here. We are gonna see quite a few invalidated laps possibly here around the trap. Shelly the Turtle goes up 132.4. Not too bad so far. Where is Luke Riley on track at the moment? Getting through sector 2. We'll have to possibly try and catch a lap on board with someone as they get around on a full lap here around the circuit. I think we're going to keep on with the Red Bull here at the moment. Has a bit of traffic in front of him. Hopefully not getting in the way though. Let's see what else is happening out on track. I'm going to go all the way down at the bottom here. On with SO at the moment in the Alfa Romeo. Getting around sector 1. Always quite interesting to see if cars tend to go on the inside or the outside when going around that first turn there, especially on opening lap. We'll see what's going to happen. We know quite a few cars are going to be going wide on it. Heavy braking zone down here into this turn house. Have to be a bit careful not to cut it too much on the inside. Can possibly invalidate a lap there as you get around to that. So they got to be careful as they move through that and get into sector 2. So as we are right about now, guys, down to just about 9 minutes 40 seconds here left in the qualifying session. We only got 7 drivers at lap time so far. We got 19 drivers in here at the moment. I see Eva Primer join the session. Not sure if that's going to be another driver joining on with us. Not too familiar with the tier 2 guys here, but getting used to them as we get through with the session. But looking so good. It's looking good so far. We got quite a few 132s, a 131, a 133, and the fastest lap there, a 130.7 from Leclerc. We'll see how well all of this holds up as we continue on in the session. Scatster here in the McLaren. Where is he on track? Getting through sector 1 still, so we'll see how that's going to work out. We got Pork Chops here not having the best of luck, and that car is severely damaged here right about now. I thought that was going to be a DNF for the session for Pork Chops there. Still going to keep that going apparently. Where is Smith on track here? Getting to sector 1 there, I think. Let's go back to the McLaren of Scatster here and see what this lap time is going to look like, as this lap will be completed pretty soon. At least halfway through it so far, but so far looking good. So it does seem like a few of our drivers are having a bit of a difficult time in terms of putting together a pretty good lap in terms of keeping the lap time actually on the board. So we'll see what's going to happen as you get on through. It looks like Jacob is on a lap there as well. Smith's possibly trying another lap. Spaceman on an out lap. Crostier on an out lap as well. Quite a few more drivers on out lap, so this should be, I think it will change up just a bit more as we get further down to the end of the session. I did average we probably would have more than half of the lap times in by now, but I think the track might just be just a bit more difficult than drivers actually expected it to be. We'll see what's going to happen, and also you guys can have a look at the tier 1 race later on after this. Well, let's see what tier 2 is going to be providing for us in terms of entertainment for a race, because it should be a good one here, especially if there's going to be some rain in the session. I think it is going to change things up just a bit. So Scatster goes across the line. Third fastest so far, 132.0. Looking pretty good in these 132 so far. And looks like we got Smith's going 131.930. And just ahead of Just Secret with a 131.937. So literally just about 7,000th of a second faster there. And pretty interesting time from him. So looking pretty good so far up atop the grid. Let's switch on over to the next McLaren here with Chris on C. He's getting through sector 3 right about now. Hopefully he's able to keep this lap together, avoid an invalidation here, and hopefully it's a good lap going so far. We'll see how if he's actually able to finish it off though. Remember guys, this is only round 3 of the current season that they're currently in here, so points are still important in terms of getting very early on in the season for the Drivers' Championship and as well as for the Constructors. So Chris goes just ahead of his teammate there at 132.021, about 300th of a second faster than his teammate, and not too bad so far. So I think that's going to hold him up there for now. And looks like SO has been disqualified from the session there for whatever particular reason. That is going to be going back onto the Red Bull of Luke Riley here, just parked on the side of the track. I think he's trying to get back going there, so let's see if that's going to be getting anywhere or not. On with Crostier here in the Mercedes. Where is he on track? Getting through Sector 1 or into Sector 2. So we got quite a few lap times. In space now with a 135.0. K-Dog is now all the way down to 12 with a 133.0. We got across J with an 11th at 132.9. He's on another outlap. Jacob in 10th at 132.6. Shelly the Turtle down to 9th now, 132.4. Not rolling up pretty well. Somewhere in the midfield there to start this race, which is really not a good place to be starting, especially if it's going to be a wet start here. I'm not sure if it's going to be a wet start, but we'll see how it holds up as we continue on further in the session. The rest of our drivers currently on outlaps who haven't set a time. Of course, Crostier here on a lap. I'm waiting to see what this lap time actually holds for us as he gets through Sector 3 right about now. Trying to have a look with someone as they get started on a lap here, so I think we're going to stay on with Pork Chops here and in the house, and let's have a look at him get through a full lap around the circuit. Let's have a lap around it and see what that's actually going to look like on board as he gets around the final turn back onto the start finish straight, and it's going to get across the line here now. So from this point getting into turn 1, really not too much of a long run as they actually get into this, and you can either take it on the inside or the outside. It's going to be a bit important in terms of the position they're trying to gain as they get on through this race. We know a lot of drivers are going to try to push you through on the inside just to gain position, then get through to turn 2 quite tight around there as well, and can actually lose the rear end pretty easily on these cars as you get through that, so they have to be careful as they get back onto the power getting on through into Sector 2 here, and a very heavy braking zone. They have to be careful through this section of the track as well, especially when it gets wet. I don't know why Luke's car is stuck at the side there. I think it's probably out of the session. I'm not even sure what's happening with him, because I highly doubt this is going to be allowing him to be parked there on the track that long. Probably a bit of a glitch. Who knows what's happening? We'll probably figure that out later on, but let's stay on board with Pork Chops right about now. Still getting through this lap here, looking good so far. Didn't go wide on that turn where most of our drivers were going a bit wide on, and gets it wrong. Into Sector 3 is about to go here right about now, and very difficult getting through this section of the track as well, as it is a bit slippery in terms of just trying to get on the power of the car and just controlling the traction on those rear wheels as well as you get on through that, and avoiding a spin back onto the back straight here. Pretty straightforward getting through the DRS zone if you have the DRS advantage, or you're just using our ERS to push as much as you can, gaining speed. Heavy braking zone into this turn. You have to avoid going wide because it can cost you quite a few positions in the race as well. So drivers are going to have to be careful about that final turn, getting it wrong here to get back onto the start finish straight, and it's so easy to invalidate a lap on that portion of the track, so they're going to have to be careful about penalties getting it wrong there. We got Pork Chops getting across the line with a 133.3. Not the best of lap here in terms of what we got going on so far. That's the fastest lap is still with Leclerc at a 130.7. I think that's with Aston Martin up in front. So Ray here, only driver left to set a lap time, I think, so far. Trying to see what that's going to be like. We got just average about 3 minutes currently left here for the qualifying session, so really not a lot of time left. These drivers need to get a move on if they're going to try and make a faster lap in or not. CMDR looking pretty good. Oh, and Ray goes up into second on the grid at 131.7 to 7 here. At least about 5/100th of a second faster than what CMDR did. So pretty interesting lap for him. CMDR, of course, on another lap, and his teammate qualified just behind him so far in the session. So they're looking pretty good as a team in terms of starting third and fourth on the grid. So not a bad position. They might be possibly trying to get a faster lap in him, and Highways, his teammate, is on an out lap at the moment. So both of them are going to try to get another lap going before the session comes to a close. They have enough time for it actually. It's down to 2 minutes or so, average about that, 2 minutes 15 seconds or so right about now, 2 minutes 20 seconds still. So enough time to get us started on another lap. Just Secret now goes up into second on the grid at 131.5, 2/10 faster than Ray, who's now down to third in the Alpine. So we got both AlphaTauris now pushed down to 4th and 5th on the grid. We do have both McLaren side by side with each other here as well, 7th and 8th so far in terms of qualifying time. Let's see if that's going to hold or not. The moment is looking pretty good, so it might actually just hold up through towards the end of qualifying here. Still do have quite a few drivers on hot laps right now, quite a few drivers on their out laps, so we can have anything change as we get on through the rest of the session. Well, I'll stay on with CMDR at the moment, just have a look and see how this is going. And looks like it's not going as well as he expected. That might be him out of the session there right about now, because I highly doubt he has enough time to put together another lap here on with Smiths at the moment. And let's see where the Ferrari driver goes at the end of this. Currently on another hot lap, currently 6th on, now down to 7th on the grid there for the start of this race. So Shadow the Turtle goes up into 3rd so far, 131.6, and we're now starting to see the abilities of some of these drivers here. So we got a lot of 131s now starting to come up on the screen here. Scatstoner goes up into 5th fastest, leaving his teammate down in 9th. He's a 131.747 so far. A lot of 131.7s at the moment, and it's looking pretty interesting. So Chris is still on an out lap, possibly trying to get another lap together here as well. Let's have a look and see if the Ferrari driver is able to put together a faster lap. Currently a 131.9. Does he go any faster? And actually goes up 2nd on the grid so far. 131.3, a pretty impressive lap for him. It's going to put him 2nd on terms of starting position so far, unless someone else is actually able to take that away. And let's see how that's going to work out. We're on with highways at the moment. The next AlphaTauri driver, who possibly is trying to get another lap and gets a purple sector too. So far so good as he gets on through with this, and he definitely is looking to improve that position. His teammate, I highly doubt he has enough time to get around and possibly get another lap. And let's have a look on Reyes. He's getting back into the pits, so not going to be able to put together another lap here right about now. So I'm going to stay on board with highways and see if he does get a faster lap. Pretty close after finishing off sector 3 at the moment, so should possibly see. And that's the end of qualifying there right about now. The time is up, so whoever's currently running a lap will be able to finish it, and that's going to be it. So we're going to stay on board with highways here. 131.908. Does he improve on that? Let's have a look. Not sure. Actually does improve. Goes up to 3rd fastest at 131.466. Puts himself in a pretty good position for the start of the race, into the top 3 at the moment. And that's going to close that off. So Shelly Turtle going pretty close. Average gamer here, possibly trying to get another lap in as well. Let's see if this is going to be an improvement on what he currently has. Driving in the Williams, a 131.6, starting 6th on the grid at the moment. And I'm trying to have a look where his teammate is right about now. I think that's Spaceman down there in 18th, possibly. Yep, I think it is. So not the best of positions for his teammate to be starting him, but so far he's holding on to P6 and loses the car there. So that's going to be it for his lap. Do we have anyone else currently running a lap here? Let's have a look. Where is Spaceman? So he is running a lap actually. Let's see if he's going to be able to finish this off in just a few seconds or so. Unfortunate for his team, but his team does have a pretty good starting position as it is. But Spaceman here needs to improve if he can. Bit of an awkward entry into the pit lane as well. We didn't talk about that, but you got to be careful getting around that portion there. And doesn't really improve so far as it is, so I think that's going to just continue on. I think Luke is having some connection problems, because I'm not sure his car is in the pit lane, but still says out lap. Not sure what's happening with that. I think we're waiting for Smith's car to get fully into the garage before we can continue into the race session over here now. And then we will be able to have a look and see if we're actually having some rain in the race session. Okay, so I think we're just waiting for the screen to just move on forward. I'm not sure if we're being held up by anyone, or I think Average Gamer possibly just getting his car into the pit lane there right now, and that should be it for the qualifying session. Then we'll move on into the race session. Okay, so qualifying results here for JK Esports Tier 2 for the Chinese Grand Prix. So far, we got Leclerc, who's going to be starting on pole. There we got Smith starting second on the grid. Looks like Highways is starting third. Jess Seeker starting fourth. Shelly the Turtle in fifth. Average Gamer sixth. Ray in seventh. Scat starting eighth. We got CMDR in ninth and Luke Riley 10th. And then we got Chris there in 11. We got Jacob in 12. We got K-Dog 13. Pork Chops in 14. 15 for Cross J. Kaz in 16. Cross Tier 17. Spaceman 18. We got Eso there in 19, I think. Someone's trying to jump but having some connection issues in terms of getting on the game itself. We'll see what's going to happen in that case there. So we're going to wait to get over to the race session here now. Okay, so we're off on the formation lap right about now. So it's going to be a 28 lap race around the circuit here for the Chinese Grand Prix here with JK Esports Tier 2. We got our 19 drivers on the grid. We weren't trying to get a 20 yet, but having some issues getting connection going with that. So we're going to have to let that be and continue on with our 19 drivers as we have it here right about now. So we have Leclerc in the Aston Martin at the moment, who's starting P1 for this race session here, just leading the guys around on that formation lap, just everyone getting the tires up to temperature and whatnot before we do get started with the race. We got Smith is going to start second, Highways in third, we got Jesse Grid fourth, Shelly the Turtle starting in fifth right about on Average Gamer in sixth, Raider in seventh, we got Scaster in eighth, his teammate down to 11th, so we'll see about how that works out. CMDR in 9th, Luke Riley in 10th, hopefully not any issues in terms of connection. Chris there 11th, Jacob starting 12th, K-Dog in 13th, his teammate Pork Chops just behind of him in 14th. We got Cross there starting in 15th, Cause in 16th, Cross tier 17th, Spaceman in 18th, and SO in 19th on the grid. Had I think a disqualification in the qualifying session, so we'll see how that's going to work out for the race itself. Going to be a pretty interesting run into turn one, especially with the way the grid is sorted there. Let's see how well that's actually going to go. I don't know if you guys expect a safety car on that opening lap or not. Might just result in possibly yellow flags or maybe just VSC, but there is a possibility of a safety car on the opening lap. We did hear mention of rain during this race. It's supposed to be a wet race, and right now it's looking pretty cloudy in tracks. I'm just going to get on board a bit. As we can see, definitely looking like rain is about to come around just around any time right now, so it might just be into a few laps in the race and we might start to see some drizzle. I'm trying to keep a close eye on right about now on the Leclerc here to see if we're seeing any sort of drizzle start to come on down, because if it does start to rain even before the end of the formation lap, that's going to be a pretty interesting run, because they're going to have to get in on that opening lap into the pit lane, change down to intermediates if it does start off pretty heavy. But it's looking pretty clear at the moment here. Might run at least quite a few laps into the race before we start to see some drizzle if it is going to happen, but does seem very much like it is going to rain in this case as we have it here right now. So we're waiting for everyone to get back sorted on the grid before we get started with the opening lap of this race. And definitely got to watch out for the run into turn one. We're going to keep an eye out in front and switch it quickly as we can down to the midfield as they all get through turns 1 and 2. And then head off into turn 3. We'll see how well it's actually going to go. We're going to have Leclerc on the outside, Smith on the inside going into turn 1. They're definitely going to try and go side by side on this, and let's see who gets a better run on it and who possibly will try to keep the lead. Also, how we got Highway and Just Secret just behind of them will try to get away with the lead of the race if they can. So Leclerc under a lot of pressure right now in terms of keeping that position there. Let's bring up a few information here right about now. We're going to keep this on position J so you guys can have a look at that as we are about to get started here right now. Let's have a quick look between Smith here and Leclerc just in front. Who gets a better start going? There's a bit of a glitch going on. And looks like Leclerc gets a bit of a faster start. Drive through penalty for Average Gamer jumping the start of the race. We'll see what's going on so far as they get on through turn 1. It's looking pretty good for the Aston Martin. It keeps hold in terms of the lead. We do have that Ferrari or Smith and someone else I think is having a bit of issue, almost getting some contact as well. I think Leclerc still holds on to the lead so far, getting on through. Trying to have a look at the midfield, see if everything is going smoothly so far. A bit of contact between that AlphaTauri and Red Bull. Now we got an Alpine off track here, and that is Ray. He's out of the race. That might result in a VSC or just maybe yellow flags as he's all the way off of the side of the track. So let's see the rest of the grid is getting on through. CMDR here pretty close behind that Mercedes and possibly might try to have a go at him if he can here as the gap is getting even closer right about now. Average Gamer all the way down to 11th on the grid, lost about 5 positions on the start, and he's still chasing after Chris there, who's only at, I think he's gained 1 position so far. So we're going to get back out front here with just circuit at the moment, trying to go side by side with Smith, but had to pull back onto the racing line. We're going to bring this back up here. Let's see if we can and change that over to tires at the moment to see what the strategy in terms of tires. Most of these cars out in front are running on those soft tires there. I'm going to take that off for now and let's just switch back on the overcam and have a look. Cars trying to pull it on the inside of the track, just trying to keep everyone out of the slipstream who's currently running behind them. This is going to get a bit interesting. That Red Bull is definitely looking for a position up here. So Just Secret holds on to P4, Shelly into 5th, and CMDR still down in 6th. Still about a 310 gap, but he needs to be a bit careful in terms of trying to get that overtake down as they continue on with this race. Leclerc still leading out front as he gets the fastest lap there, I think. 10-second penalty for Luke Riley there, and leaderboard just starting to go a bit crazy, so we're going to switch that off just a bit and just keep an eye on the grid as they're all getting through this here right now. Let's have a look further down back at the field as well. See what's happening. So we got a Ferrari and a Haas going side by side. Both Haas trying, sorry, I thought that was both Haas trying to fight it out. So have a look at this, what's happening here. So K-Dog in the middle of this right now. I think he's trying to look for a gap to get around that Ferrari and possibly trying to take this on the inside or maybe the outside, but he's holding on to the position at least for now. I'm going to switch this back up in just a bit and see how well actually this is going. So far so good. We only lost actually just one driver from the session, and we're still getting on through pretty well with the race into lap 2 at the moment. Of course it's at 20. Trying to have a look what's happening on the back here. I think S was trying to get around someone or just about to lose a position actually. I think he was trying to get around K-Dog there. So a 28 lap race and into lap 2 already. So still got a lot of time to get through this, and that rain could still potentially come on down here on track. And I think these guys might be possibly just setting themselves up for a pit stop to get on straight into the intermediates. If they do need to, we'll see what's going to happen in that case. Let's have a look out front and see what's happening here, because Smith might be looking to lose that position if his teammate decides to go on the inside, but not forcing it as yet as they get on through pretty well so far. Leclerc now getting the fastest lap once again, getting into the next lap. So we're going to switch this around a bit. Let's have a look out front and see what's happening here. So it looks like CMD are pretty close by to the Mercedes in front of him and possibly just trying to get away with second place if he can. Holding off pretty good into lap 3 as a pretty close gap. So let's see how much further they're actually able to push this through to. Porkchops all the way up into 5th, surprisingly. Not even sure how he got here, but he'll be further down the field at the start of this race. So it looks like he had a pretty good start. Just behind of him, Chris and Just Secret in the Red Bull having a bit of a fight for one position side by side and almost having just a bit of contact there as well as they fight for 6th right now. Just Secret gets up a position, puts the McLaren down to 7th. I think he's going to be left there for now at least, because it doesn't look like he's going to be able to gain back the position right away. Let's get that off screen and possibly go on down just a bit further down the field. Have a look at what's happening here, because it looks like CrossJ might be looking at losing a position as well if he's not careful here. About a 7-10 gap to Spaceman behind of him. We've lost 2 drivers so far. Looks like Luke is out and Ray is out as well. So down to 17 remaining to finish up the race here. We're going to see what's going to happen. I'm quite interested to see if this rain does plan to come on down anytime soon. And that's why I'm kind of keeping on board with the cars right about now, just to have a look to see if we can see any bit of drizzle on track here, because we're definitely going to have an indication of what possibly could be happening in the next few laps if we do start to see that happening there. So on with Shelley the Turtle here in second. CMD are pretty close behind, at least by about 3 to 4 tenths here. And there we go, so about 7 tenths. So he's going to continue that fight for second place in the race. I don't think he's going to give that up quite easily. And the gap is starting to go away from him, so he's starting to lose the DRS range right about now. So that's not going to be a good point for him there. Out in front, Leclerc is currently leading by 4 seconds. So looks like he's doing pretty well in terms of leading this race and kind of running his own race out front and trying to get away from everyone as much as he can. If a safety car does happen, that is going to change things up quite a bit for him out front, though I don't think he's going to be too happy about it. So let's keep on here. On with Chris at the moment here in 7th in the McLaren, chasing after Porkchops in front of him. We're going to have a pretty good run at this, because the 310 gap is what separates them here right about now. And you can see the Haas possibly just trying to keep that car out in front. Of course, Just Secret just in front of it by about 8 tenths right now. I think he's on his own mission out in front, just trying to catch a car in front of him, and he's losing a bit of time right about now, possibly a bit focused on the McLaren behind, so needs to be a bit more cautious, and he does have to keep an eye in his rear view right about now, just to make sure he doesn't lose 6th position in this race, because that's still some decent points getting on through with it. Trying to have a look if we do have a closer gap. I think this might just be the closest one we currently do have. A pretty good run down that back straight as he catches up to the Haas pork chop pretty quickly. Tries to get a good exit off of that turn there, and it's going to continue that chase where it's still about 7 tenths behind. I think Smith has a pretty close gap with Scatster for 15th right now. He fell all the way down in the back there and trying to get back up. So I think he just got a position up there. So Scatster now down to 16th. That's Smith up another position. Gonna try and fight his way back out in front of the field. We got pit stops happening here with Highways and Crust here. Are we seeing any rain? No, we are not seeing rain. We're actually seeing a bit of sunshine on track here right about now. It does look a bit sunny here in Sector 1 at the moment. So let's see if that continues all the way through the track. And we can see that the McLaren driver was thinking about taking it on the inside there and possibly just trying to get that overtake done before they actually got into that turn, but I kind of just rethink that and just didn't want to take the chance. Actually played it just a bit safe. He's going to hold it off and now continue setting himself up for this overtake to get away with 6th position here. So we're going to keep back on the overtake cam, keep an eye on this and see how well things are actually going here. Still about a 3 to 4 10 gap as he continues down on that run there, about to get into sector 3, and on that back straight he's going to try and have a bit more advantage against the Haas driver and possibly line himself up for an overtake maybe in the next lap. We'll see how long this actually takes for him to get it done, because he does seem to have the pace to actually keep up with pork chops in front, but just having some trouble trying to get alongside him here, and he's using the slipstream as much as he can. So you can see pork chops pulling to the inside but not working too well, as the McLaren was going to try it on the outside, now switches back to the inside and still holds the position on the racing line for now and doesn't want to risk compromising the position at this point. We got pit stops happening out the front there as well. Are we seeing any rain on track? No rain over here in sector 3, getting back into sector 1 as well. 5-second penalty for Shelley Luther for speeding in the pit lane there, and that's not going to go over too well. We got a few pit stops happening out front. Now we got Leclerc still leading the race by 7.9 seconds. We have now Jacob currently running in 2nd place here. We got pork chops now up into 3rd, Chris into 4th, K-Dog up into 5th and still chasing after these two here as well. So we got a McLaren stuck between two Haas here. I don't think he's having the best of time doing this right now, because we do have K-Dog catching up to him. Not going to be the best possible position to be in, with the driver who you're chasing having his teammate being chasing you just from behind there. So he's going to have to be extremely careful about this in terms of trying to get his overtake done and keeping that car behind. Let's keep and see how this is actually going to play out between these three guys here right now. Because I think he's trying to get away from K-Dog, but he has to get past Sport Shops, which is just been a bit difficult at this point in the race. Into lap 6 already, and he's having some trouble just getting that overtake lined up to get it done. But he's going to get on back to the back straight once again. Into lap 6, let's see if he's able to use a slipstream in any way. He's within a second, so we'll have that DRS advantage, which he just turned on there. Let's see if that's going to be enough to actually get overtake done on this particular lap here, as he tries to pull it on the inside but just holds it back. He might have to just wait just a lap more before actually attempting this. It seemed like he did have it under control a bit, and now loses the car into the barriers on the side and loses the entire front wing. He's now going to have to take a pit stop, and he was that much closer to actually getting that overtake done. So getting into the pit lane here right about now, going a bit wide on the entry there as well, as he now gets on in. Going to be on a much different strategy getting on through. We got both Haas now running on the podium position here, 2nd and 3rd on the grid at the moment, and looking pretty good at possibly finishing. We got a virtual safety car right now, because something's happened somewhere possibly on track. I'm not even sure where as yet. Possibly maybe we have some debris on track. Who knows what's going on at this point in the race here right about now. A few more pit stops happening down in the back in the midfield, and I think we're back racing again. Yes, we are. So 2 seconds is what separates Jacob and pork chops right now. Where is our previous race leader here? I'm trying to have a look at how far down he is, and currently down into 6th right now. Let's put tires on. You guys can have a look at what's going on with the tire strategy and situation at the moment. Out in front, Jacob and pork chop running 6 laps on those hards right about now, planning on running a pretty long stint, possibly until any potential rain might actually arrive here in the race, and then possibly doing a one-stop strategy to get to the end of the race. We'll see what the case is going to be with that. At the moment, we currently have absolutely no cars currently running on soft tires here. We got mediums and hards all the way through this with the pit stops that happen. And we're going to keep on going with this. Out in front, Jacob here continues to lead 2.1 seconds in front of Porkchop right about now, who's being chased by his teammate, and his teammate is being chased by Cause FSJ at the moment, 1.2 seconds behind. So both cars running pretty close. I think that's the closest gap we have in the race so far. Let's see if it's going to be a switch between them. I want to see which of the Haas drivers are faster here around China. Looks like they do a bit of a switch, and looks like it was a bit intentional. Might have been a team order, I'm not sure. So Kedar takes over second. Porkchop puts himself down into third, and it seems like it was maybe a bit of a smart move because Porkchop is going to run a longer stint. He's on the slower tires. His teammate is on the mediums, the faster tires, and will have to do a shorter stint. So putting him out in front will give him a chance to possibly chase after Jacob for the lead until he's actually ready to do a pit stop here. We're going to go down to Leclerc here and cross J, who's currently chasing after him. And these two are both in Aston Martins going. So 5th and 6th for that team so far. 7th, 10th is where the gap is between them. We are on with Leclerc at the moment, who's currently chasing after Cause FSJ out in front of him. And this is, of course, our 4th position. You remember, Leclerc was previously leading. He started P1 in the race. He's going to possibly try to fight his way back out in front. But at the moment, the gap is currently 1.1 second. Actually, he just dropped by 2/10 of what it was. So he's trying to catch the, I think it's the Ferrari in front of him. See how well that's actually going to go on through for them. Well, the switch is back over a bit. Let's have a look down at the back of the field here. Average gamer at the moment, 5/10 is where the gap is to the Mercedes in front of him. And does have a bit of a spin here as he switch on through. Doesn't take any damage in the car. Reversing dangerously close to almost hitting another car on track, and that could have been a penalty. Because he does have to be extremely careful in terms of getting back on track. If there was no ghosting on, that would have actually been pretty close toward being a very nasty accident between them, and a very severe penalty there for Average Gamer as well. 1 second is where the gap is between him and Just Secret right about now, so he's going to try to catch back up to them. Back on the Leclerc here. Let's have a look on how close he's actually to Cause FSJ, who's very close to the Haas in front of him, possibly trying to go side by side on this, and still going to hold this position at least for now. Has a bit of an issue as the Aston Martin now gets by. Leclerc is now up into 4th and continues to chase the Porkshops in the Haas out in front. So we're going to keep on with that. See how that continues through with this race. So far so good in the race, I gotta say, quite impressive with the drivers. Only 2 drivers lost, and it's going pretty well. And instead of getting towards the rainy side of the race, it's getting to be a bit more sunny, so track temperature definitely would improve in that case and provide maybe just a bit more grip for these drivers. So far so good. We got a Haas, Aston Martin and a Ferrari trying to fight for 3rd position here in the race, and I think the 2nd Aston Martin is right down behind coming on through. Got a 110 gap to Porkchops in front. DRS advantage, ERS advantage, and he is using the slipstream as much as he can. He's going to put it on the inside as Porkchops tries to push him, squeeze him a bit as well. And I think they had touched just a bit. No damage taken so far. So the Aston Martin Leclerc gets back up into 3rd. Porkchops is down to 4th. And he's going to continue to chase, possibly trying to get back to position if he can. But so far so good between them. We got Porkchops losing time right about now. And down behind that, we do have Cause FSJ. Can catch up to him and getting another position if he can here. He's about 4 or 5 tenths behind. Goes a bit wider wrong turn 1 here. We got a Ferrari taking a bit on the inside. Will gain a bit of time as he get on through the turn 2. Let's see how this continues to go on through. Back out in front here with Porkchops chasing after Leclerc. Let's see if this is going to go anywhere or not, because I think he's trying to keep the gap at what it is here. Leclerc, of course, on fresher hard tires at the moment. I'm going to try to push as much into this race as he can. We're into lap 10 right now and still getting on through pretty well. 17 drivers do remain here. Jacobs now still leading the race, of course, on hard tires. Hasn't taken a stop as yet. We got K-Dog running 2nd on 9 laps on those mediums. 4.5 seconds behind our race leader. He has not taken a pit stop as yet. Now it should shake things up just a bit, because this does mean, of course, K-Dog will have to pit before Jacob will. That's going to put Leclerc up into 2nd if he doesn't actually get over takedown before that pit stop happens, because we know K-Dog is on the mediums. Can't run that much long of a strategy as those drivers on the hards there. And looks like Leclerc already gets the position up on the Haas driver kit down to third now. So Leclerc is up to second. He's now 5.1 seconds behind Jacob, who's currently leading the race and definitely going to be fighting back for that position. And he might actually be able to get it before Jacob decides to do a pit stop. We'll see how that's going to work out. So as it is right about now, let's have a look. Do we have any closer gap? Looks like we got Smitty going past Chris here and takes over 9th place in this race. Guy the McLaren's going to continue chasing after him though. At least about a 4-10 gap. So I think all we have is basically virtual safety cars so far. Not a single full safety car in this instance at the moment. We do have a few drivers with penalties. Looks like Shelly the Turtle might have gained a position because Crossjay has a problem here right about now. Lost the entire front wing of the Aston Martin, so we'll have to take a pit stop, and is currently running here in Sector 2 now, so still has quite a way before he gets around the track and is going to be able to get a new front wing on and get a new set of tires there as well. Going back here with Kaz FSJ right about now. 3/10 is what the gap is. The pork chops out in front, so let's see how that's actually working out. He's trying to look for a gap. He's going to try and take it on the inside possibly here, as pork chop once again is trying to squeeze another driver, possibly trying to get past him. A bit of contact between them, and overtake is still going to happen. Pork chop still finding it back, though. Another bit of contact as they get on through this. No damage so far. And they're still trying to go side by side. Porkchop actually holds on to the position in P4 at the moment. We got Smith out of the race. What's happened to his car? I'm trying to have a look here right now and see where that's happened. It looks like it's at the side of the track there. So something's happened to him coming off that final turn. And I highly doubt that's going to be anything change in the race, because it was way off track. So I think we're going to continue on as it is there right now. So Porkchops here still continuing to lead in P4. Guy the Ferrari coming after him. Definitely will try and move on the inside. Let's see if that's going to work out or not as he forces this through. And actually goes a bit wide. Might have had a bit of contact there, but still tries to get back going. Welcome to Scavney on the stream. The race has been going quite interestingly well so far. From the start up to this point, we had quite a few interesting battles throughout the session. On to lap 12. And about to get to just about the halfway point of this session, and so far so good. Leclerc started off P1, was leading quite well. He's now back on with the second after his pit stop, and potentially looking to get back into the lead of the race. Of course, we have Jacob out in front of him. 4.3 seconds is what the gap is. He's holding that just a bit, but I think it's starting to go away. Maybe just a little bit by a few tenths per lap here. We'll see how fast he's actually gaining time. So Jacob is going to have to do a stop at some point. That definitely is going to put Leclerc back up into the lead. K-Dog running third, 3.2 seconds behind all of this. As Porkchop behind of him. That's his team at 3.1 seconds behind. Haas is looking pretty good in terms of this race and finish here. We'll see what's going to happen. But of course, both of them running 11 laps on those tires. Let's see how far they're actually able to push with them. K-Dog getting into the pits right now on those mediums, getting rid of them. Let's see what the strategy change here is going to be. So it looks like he's going to go on to a new set of hards. No damage in the car, so no wing change as he gets on back out. Looks like we got Space 9 into the pits there as well. We're going to get back out in front here with Leclerc. 3.7 seconds is what the gap is down to now. Gained about 4 to 5 tenths so far since we last checked in with them. So he's definitely gaining time to Jacob out in front of him. And I think he might be looking to get back that lead sooner than later on in the race here. We'll see if that's going to work out. Trying to have a look. Do we have a closer gap down at the bottom here? We got Esso here in 10th. A 2:10 gap to the Red Bull of Just Secret out in front of him, trying to pull it a bit on the inside to get his overtake done and get up into 9th position. Gonna mean some more points there for the team and for his Drivers' Championship there as well. Needs to be a bit careful getting onto the power of the car to avoid a spin here. And so far so good from the Romeo driver. Holds on to the position still. 8 tenths is what the gap is. Trying to break it down to possibly get an overtake here. Looks like we got some position changes happening down in the back of the field as well. We got SO now 610, 510 behind. Just Secret is going to use the slipstream a bit if he can here. Just Secret is trying to keep him out of that. But I highly doubt that's working to his advantage out front, because it does look like SO is gaining time on the Red Bull right about now. Might not be able to make the overtake here, but definitely will get close enough for it at this point here, and might be able to line it up over in the next lap. Spaceman has two cars now behind of him to deal with, so needs to be a bit careful about his approach in the race here as well, in terms of keeping the Red Bull behind. Okay, so let's have a look at the overhead view right about now between Spaceman, Jesse and SO just behind. About 4/10 is what the gap is between them, so we're going to keep a close eye and see how this works out. As a cross again gets the fastest lap so far. Let's switch back to the overhead view. Looks like the Alfa Romeo is definitely trying to get an overtake done. Might have a bit of a difficult time with this right now though. We got Chris there getting 8/10 behind K-Dog at the moment, so gonna be a bit interesting with that. Of course, Spaceman on fresh tires here, trying to have a look at him out front, trying to get away from these two. 1/10 gap, and that's changing quite a bit between them as they get a good run behind each other going. The only one not having the advantage is the Williams of Spaceman right now. And looks like the Red Bull will line up an overtake as he gets around here. Actually gets the overtake done before even getting to the end of the turn at this point here. And having those two go side by side behind him, looks like SO gets up against the Williams here as well. So we got the Red Bull out into 8th, SO in 9th, the Spaceman in 10th. We do, of course, have Chris out front. 8-10 gap is what he's at right now, chasing after K-Dog. Possibly trying to get an overtake done with. We'll see how that works out. We're on to lap 15. Just past the halfway point of the race right about now. Jacob still leads this race, 14 laps on the last set of tires there. About to get into 15. We got Leclerc still in second, 2.8 second is what the gap is. Porkchop's running third. We got Kaz, FSJ in fourth. We got Shelly the Turtle in fifth. K-Dog in sixth. Chris in seventh. Jesse with 8th. SO in 9th. Spaceman in 10th. Average gamer currently 11th. As it is, High was 12th. And his teammate behind him, CMDR there in 13th. Cross J in 14, Cross Tier 15, and Scatster in 16th right now. I'll go back down just a bit with us to see what's happening with the Alfa Romeo at the moment. Has a pretty close gap to Just Secret and a Red Bull in front of him, but still needs to line his overtake up pretty cleanly in terms of avoiding any sort of contact with that car, or possibly losing his position here. Looks like SO is going to use the slipstream to his advantage just a bit, but as you can see, the Red Bull is trying to keep him out of it, swing from side to side on the track. Possibly might be costing himself some time by doing it that way as well, so he needs to be just a bit careful with this. I'll get on to the Red Bull of Just Secret to see how this is working out for him, because 3/10 is what his gap is. He's going to try and pull it as much on the inside as he can. I almost has some contact with the Alfa Romeo, still trying to push it on the inside to get an overtake done here. And just runs out of room on that one there. He's going to push it onto turn 2 right now. Let's see what's going to happen in this case. Looks like out in front, Leclerc is finally actually catching up to Jacob. We're going to have a look at that right about now. So it looks like Leclerc is about 8/10 behind that Alfa Romeo right about now. He has a pretty good position here, but of course he has to do a mandatory pit stop in the race, which we'll have to do pretty soon. And possibly he's going to try to do a one-stop strategy going on to a set of soft tires, maybe to go to the end. But we'll see. Possibly I would expect him to go in by now and get a set of mediums on at least. Well, let's see what the strategy play is and when he actually decides to make that change there. And looks like Leclerc currently gets a purple sector 1. And we can now see the gap is down to about 4 tenths between Martin and Jacob out in front. About to get these two side by side here. As we can see, Martin pulling alongside and has the pace to go by at this point. And looks like he is going to get the position up. Takes it on the inside, holds on back to the racing line before they get to that end of the turn. And Leclerc now takes back the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. Puts Jacob down to second right now, where he does have to take a pit stop here. K-Dog is currently running 35 seconds behind this. This gives Jacob just enough time to get into the pits and get back out on a fresh set of tires and to go all the way to the end of the race. And will still be in second, so not a bad position for him to keep here right now. We currently only have one driver with a penalty, and that's Kaz FSJ there. So let's see. We'll have a look at that in just a bit to see what his penalty currently is. We got about 10 laps average or so left in the race to finish off here. Or done about 18 so far. I'm trying to have a look at our closed gaps where there are pork chops here chasing after the McLaren in front of him. See if that's going to go anywhere or not. Looks like those cars might be harvesting energy as well, so might be just to his advantage. Still haven't seen any sign of rain in this session here so far as we have it. Looks like Highways is out of the session as well. Smith's out and Luke Riley and Racer 4 drivers we've lost in the race total so far. Got a pretty close gap here with Pork Chops and Chris here for that position, their P4, as we're going on through with this. Still got 15 drivers remaining here. So once again, we got a McLaren stuck between two Haas, and this is really not a good place to be at this point in the race. Let's see if Pork Chops is able to actually get this overtake done. He is going to be running down on that back straight there right about now, having the DRS advantage, which I think Chris might have lost out on since his gap is now over a second here. So Pork Chop does get the DRS advantage using the slipstream, and let's see if that's going to work in anywhere or not. Looks like we got a virtual safety car for something's happened on track. And I'm not entirely sure what it is. We do have about 2 cars getting in the pits there as well. Might just be from the debris on track, or we're not entirely sure as yet. We're on lap 19 under the virtual safety car and going here right now. We got 2 cars currently in the pits. Let's see what's going to change as we get around, get to the end of this VSC right now. So still under the VSC on lap 19, getting through here. Should be over pretty soon though. We got Jesse Pitt and SO into the pits. Out in front here we got Jacob here just behind Leclerc, who's leading the race. He's about 0.5 of a second behind. 18 laps done on that set of tires. Has not done a pit stop as yet. So we know that Jacob has to do a stop, which I'm trying to have a look at here because right about now he has 38 seconds of a gap between himself and K-Dog. It's definitely enough time for him to get into the pit lane and get back out. So honestly, I think if I was him, I was probably going to do that pit stop right about now into lap 20, go into a set of softs and push all the way to the end of the race. And possibly try to catch back up with Leclerc if possibly a Poke Chop's trying to take it around the outside. Looks like he's getting the overtake done. But I think the McLaren of Chris might try to fight it back, but at the moment he's just let it go. And he's now down into 5th. Let's have a look at the gap that he's trying to stay behind with here. And he's already up to about 8 tenths right now. So far so good in the session. Going out to Shelly the turtle here, having a pretty good go with Spaceman and possibly going to get the overtake done. Side by side as they go, it looks like the Mercedes gets the position up here. We got the Williams going slightly wide, but has to take 8th position so far as he gets on through this. 14 drivers currently remain in the session. I think that previous VSC was possibly for Crostier there as he's now out of the session as well. But so far, quite reasonable with the amount of drivers we got to finish this race at the moment on to lap 20 and getting on through this CMDR where he is here right about now down the pit straight trying to catch up to this Red Bull and can pass him for P9 and get some more points right about now. He's trying to push it a bit on the inside if he can and will start to run out of room though and has to take it onto the racing line and continue on with that. Let's switch this back to the overhead cam and keep a close eye on this right about now. I'm back out in front. Let's have a look at this. Because Porkchop's got an overtake done on Chris in the McLaren. He's now up to 4th. His teammate is about 3 tenths behind, in front of him, sorry, 2 tenths now. As he goes down the back straight, having that bit of advantage. And he now pulls alongside his teammate. He's going to try to get the overtake done. Looks like Porkchop goes up into 3rd place on the grid here. And that's a podium position if he does finish it there. And of course, he's running on fresher tires and of course on mediums as well. So this is going to be a bit of an advantage to him as he's now onto a podium place. And he's going to try to keep it as much as he can. Of course, getting into 2nd might seem a bit impossible right about now unless someone crashes out in front of them. Let's switch off that just a bit here so we can see that Jacob has lost quite a bit of time right now to Leclerc, who's still leading the race into lap 21 right now, which he's trying to keep on the right hand side. Doesn't want to allow any sort of advantage to Jacob just behind of him. And looks like Kranze now gets the fastest lap. That's being switched around quite a bit. So 1.1 second is what the gap is between Jacob and Leclerc here. I'm not sure when Jacob will do a stop here because he does have to do one. You got Porkchops here 32.5 seconds behind him and he's trying to close the gap as much as he can for when that potential pit stop does actually happen here. You got K-Dog is stealing behind the back. Chris here in the McLaren trying to get around the Haas of K-Dog and does actually get it done. He's now back up into P4 and I think he's going to try to hold up a position all the way to the end of the race now. And I think the situation there being with Jacob, I think Scapney in the chat there might be right. I think Jacob might have been holding out for a full safety car here to take his pit stop and just keep the gap that he has towards Leclerc there and get onto a fresh set of tires and possibly fight for the race win. But yeah, definitely doesn't seem like it's actually working out, or he might have just been waiting for a bit of rain to come down to the end of the race. I'm not sure, but either way, that strategy is not working right now. Because I think what his best chance is getting into the pits, getting back out on a set of softs. And we got another virtual safety car right about now. He needs to hope that this does not allow Porkchops to get any bit closer to him right about now. It's not allowing. That seems to be increasing the gap here. and he might be a bit happy about that. So let's see what that case is going to work with. And he's into the pits right now. He's going to take advantage of the VSC because he doesn't see any more advantage coming his way. So he's using the virtual safety car to the advantage right now to take his pit stop. Let's have a look at that gap as it's going to break down, as we do have, we can see pork chops coming down the back straight there right about now, and I highly doubt he's going to be able to get past Jacob here. So Jacob is going to get back out of those pits. He's going to get back into second place here as he gets back on track here already and gets the wrong turn, when we now have pork chops coming around the final turn there in sector 3, about to get back into sector 1 and getting it wrong. So still has quite a bit of time. He's now, of course, though, 25.8 seconds behind Leclerc, who's leading out front. So Leclerc has a big lead and has 16.3 seconds to the car behind, that pork chop behind there. So that, I think, is going to be his best chance here, finishing on the podium, and he's going to take it at this point. We got pork chops now with a penalty, though, and possibly just a 3-second penalty. I'm not sure. We'll have a look at that in just a bit. What sort of penalty did he have there? Let's have a look quickly. And it's a drive-through penalty. Unfortunately, looks like Chris will be moving up a position, as well as K down here, as pork chops now has a drive-through penalty. Cars FSJ might be looking at gaining a position here as well. We'll see how that's going to work on out. So now I think everyone's on their mandatory pit stop. I'm going to continue on with the race. Let's see how the final few laps actually go. We got at least about 5.5 laps remaining. 5 laps of racing actually to be, because we're still waiting for, I think, oh, the VSC is actually over. Just thought it was still going on, because we do have a yellow flag situation there in sector 3. For some reason, I think one of the drivers are out, and that's Cross J out of the session, unfortunately. Let's get on board here. We possibly will be able to see him on the right hand side of the track, and just disappeared there. So back out in front with Leclerc here, still leading 19.4 seconds. We have Jacob now on fresh soft tires, about 4 laps or so remaining to do this, and I highly doubt he's going to be able to catch up to Leclerc and get an overtake done in that amount of time. He will, however, be able to hold on to the position he currently has and head off into the end of the race and finish off second place on the podium with a finish for that. That shouldn't be too bad. Drive-through penalty for pork chops, so that's going to hurt his race strategy here, and he worked his way. He worked pretty hard to actually get his way up into P3, into a podium position, and now takes a penalty. Chris there will be moving up into P3, K-Dog moving up into P4, and I would think pork chops might actually have to move down into P6 or maybe even 7th. Just depends on how much time it's going to take him to actually do the drive-through penalty. Let's have a look and see when he does decide to actually do that, though, because he's still continuing on his current lap right now. I think most of our gaps have started to go away from us here right about now. So Chris currently 4K down in 5th, as we said. Cars FSJ 6, we got Shadow Turtle currently 7th, we got Spaceman 8, we got Just Secret in 9th, Average Gamer in 10th, SO there 11th, Scatster 12th, and CMDR in 13th at this point in time. And we can see K-Dog trying to get back on the power, chasing after Chris here. This is for P4 at the moment. Waiting once again to see if pork chops is going to be doing his drive-through penalty at the end of this lap. Now the thing is here, when you get a drive-through penalty, you kind of have about an average of 3 laps before you're actually able to get it done. Otherwise, you get an automatic disqualification from the race. So we know that within the 3 laps that the VSC was over from, we know the pork chops has to make that drive-through penalty and serve it. Let's see how it's going to work out with him. Currently they clear 17 laps on those mediums, another 3 laps or so to finish off this race, which they definitely will be able to pull off at this point here. It looks like Jacob currently getting fastest lap. CMDR might try to get that as well, as he's currently running on soft. We'll see if that's going to work out for him or not. Okay, so let's bring this down just a bit, have a look and see what's happening in the back here. So gap is now within a second between Chris and K-Dog, still trying to fight for P4 as it is. We know Porkchops has to take that drive-through penalty. We're still waiting to see what that is going to be like at this point here. And I think we're going to put penalties online right now. You guys can have a look at that and see what the situation actually is. And looks like we got Porkchops doing his drive-through penalty there right now. And he is going to fall down the order just a bit. Let's see how much positions he actually is going to lose here. And remember, he does have to follow the speed limit there in the pit lane as he now gets back out with a Cars FSJ going past him. Got Shelly the Turtle coming behind, and gap is closing very, very quickly. And he now catches up. It's a 7-10 gap, down to 6 tenths actually between them. And gets even further down to 5 tenths right now between Shelly the Turtle and Porkchops. And this is a fight for P6. Of course, remember, Porkchops did not do a pit stop there. He just went for a drive-through penalty to serve that through before the end of the race is over, and he does get disqualified at this point here. 4/10 is what the gap is down to, so it looks like Shelly the Turtle might be gaining some sort of time. Out in front, Jacob actually seems to be catching up to Leclerc, but not fast enough because it's a 12.9 second gap still. Jacob away from Chris there, who's in third by 23.5 seconds, and that's looking like to be top 3 right now at the moment as it is here. K-Dog down to 4th, Cars running in 5th with a penalty there as well. We got Porkchops here 6th, we got Shelly the Turtle 7th, Spaceman currently 8th, Just Secret in 9th, Average Gamer in 10th, and we got SO 11th, Scatster in 12th. I'm trying to keep a little on board actually to see if Shelly the Turtle is able to catch up. Now he's catching up pretty quickly here to Porkchops, but needs to get his overtake done as soon as possible. I think we're about to go into lap 27 with them, so not a lot of time left. It's an average of 2 laps or so to go before we close out the Chinese Grand Prix here for JKeSport. So far it's been quite an entertaining race going all the way through. I don't think we really had a point where we really didn't have any sort of battles going on, at least for a few minutes. So 3/10 is where the gap is. Let's have a look on how it's going to be on this current lap here, lap 27. You already see the Mercedes trying to push it around on the inside here. And you can see now a 2:10 gap, and this is going to be quite interesting going wrong to that long straight there in sector 3. Let's see how that's going to work out. Very difficult to get an overtake done right along these portions of the track, as it is a bit narrow along some parts, but still it looks like Porkchops gets a bad exit a bit there. Shelly the Turtle will continue behind him. So far so good for the Mercedes because he's catching up very, very quickly. I'm quite sure he's now going to line himself up for an overtake on this current lap here, because we have our race leader Leclerc now entering into the final lap as he gets on around. And already into sector 2, they're going there at the moment, so we'll still have to wait for the rest of the grid to get back around and finish off the race here. So 6/10 is what the gap is. Looking pretty good so far. Spaceman here with a 5/10 gap right now, as it seems to just secret in front of him. Let's switch this back out in front at the moment here. So we got Leclerc about to get into the final sector of the track. As Jacob 11 seconds behind of him. Chris there another 27 seconds. K-Dog is 0.9 seconds right now. So he is looking pretty good. So far we've had a short qualifier session getting through the session. Leclerc there qualified P1 to start this race. Started the race P1, held on to the lead, I think for quite a number of laps actually, until he decided to do his pit stop, came back out, I think around 4th or 5th, and fought his way back to the front of the grid, and is now about to get across the line and take the win for the Chinese Grand Prix. And not a bad win for him, with a pretty decent gap of 10.5 seconds to Jacob, who is now getting around the final turn in the Alfa Romeo to get around, and he is going to take 2nd place. A pretty interesting strategy from him as well. He takes 2nd place on the podium here, And we do have Chris here and K-Dog, who are fighting it out currently for third place, the final podium position here. And let's see who's going to get it between the McLaren and the Haas driver here. So far, it looks like Chris might actually be able to get it. He just needs to keep K-Dog behind of him for at least about another 10 to 15 seconds. Another 10 seconds at least, as he now gets around the final turn onto that straight, and I don't think nothing's stopping him at this point. Getting across the line, takes the final podium position. Kida goes down, finishes P4 right about now. Cars FSJ coming around final turn, has about 3 cars behind of him, 2 cars behind of him, still fighting for positions, and he gets across the line, takes P7 actually because of a penalty that he had. He had a 3-second penalty. Porkchop goes up into P5, Shadow the Turtle takes 6. We got Just Secret about to get around a final turn here in any moment, and he should be able to take P8 on the grid. Looks like another 5.8 seconds behind. We do have Average Gamer there that should get across the line and take P9. So I don't know why he was stopping, just for start or something. So Just Secret takes P8. We got Average Gamer getting across, taking P9. Spaceman coming around, takes position after that. So not too bad of a race there, and a decent amount of drivers, I think, finishing off. And congratulations to Leclerc there for taking the win on that one. They started P1, got the win on it. Cars FSJ gets driver of the day. We're going to see who got the fastest lap as we get to the preliminary results here in just a few seconds here. So Aston Martin takes the win, not too bad for that, for the Chinese GP. Alright, so there we go. So Leclerc race winner here for Tier 2 here at JKeSports for round 3 right now for the Chinese Grand Prix, and a pretty decent win. And we got Jacob finishing second on the podium with him. Fastest lap there as well. Chris takes third on the grid. We got K-Dog finishing fourth. Fifth goes for Pork Chops. We got Shelly the Turtle there in 6th. Cars FSJ finishes 7th and gets driver of the day. Just Secret there finishes 8th. We got Average Gamer in 9th. Spaceman in 10th. So they're 11th. We got Scatster there, gonna take 12 for that. CMDR 13, Blastray 14, and it goes down the order. Let's see who else finished up after that. We knew quite a few drivers did not finish. Added was Crustier was 15, Highwoods would have been 16, Smith would have been 17, Luke Riley in 18, and Ray there 19. And I think that's gonna be it there, guys, for the session here this evening. Thanks for joining us on here with Tier 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that race and enjoyed the commentary as well. I'll see you guys on the next stream, which I'll be a part of. So until then,